You blow a 28 to 3-point lead, and then you totally redeem yourself. What's going on, YouTube? It's your main man, Boys for Life, coming at you with another video. So we all know the history between Matt Ryan and Dan Quinn. Head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. Both get to the Super Bowl, obviously, going against Tom Brady. With a quarter and a half left in the middle of the third quarter, a little bit less actually, you have a 25-point lead, 28 to 3. It was all but over at that point. Cue quarter and a half later, cue some overtime, and Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl. Crazy ending. Where do you go from there? You become the laughingstock of the NFL. Matt Ryan never recovers. Dan Quinn seems like he can't. After that, seems like he couldn't even buy a win. It's crazy. It's crazy. How far, I wouldn't say both of them, but how far Dan Quinn has come. Look, you blow that lead. You get made fun of for a couple years, even after you lose that Super Bowl. You leave Atlanta. Dallas picks you up after Mike Nolan gets fired or released or whatever it was by giving up the most points historically on the Dallas defense. And then Dallas Cowboys come knocking. They come and pick you up. And guess what? The Dallas Cowboys, after signing Dan Quinn, were made fun of by a lot of people. Tampa fans were making fun of the Cowboy fans. Panther fans. Saints fans. And you want to know how I know this? Because I know a lot of them. We're all making YouTube. We're all doing lives and talking about it. And I'm over here backing Dan Quinn up. One of the few people that were backing Dan Quinn up at the time. Because I knew what he was as a defensive coordinator, and I knew what he was as a head coach. To me, when he was a defensive coordinator and he was able to shape his defense, one of the best defenses to play the game. The Legion of Boom from Seattle. Gets a head coaching job, takes the team to the Super Bowl, granted blew the lead, but when the Cowboys come knocking, you take on that role and you totally redeem yourself. Dan Quinn not only turned a Mike Nolan's horrible defense 2 years later into the number one defense in the league. Sacks, pressures, hurries, anything you can think of to get after the quarterback, Dan Quinn has made this defense scary. Dan Quinn has totally redeemed himself after that debacle, after that fiasco that he had over there in the Super Bowl. There's no question about it. Which takes us now to Sunday. Colts, Matt Ryan, Cowboys, Dan Quinn. Last time the Colts came into AT&T Stadium, Tony Romo was 7 for 18 with 4 touchdowns and over 200 yards at some point during the game. That wasn't the entire game, but that was at some point in the game. Those were his stats. Cowboys were winning 28 to nothing at the time. So when you have history between a coach and their quarterback, and they are now playing against each other in AT&T Stadium, one's older, doesn't look like himself, like the prime Matt Ryan that we saw when they were in the Super Bowl, and you have Dan Quinn, who's only getting smarter and only doing more with this team than what anyone else has done in the previous years. There's no way that I think that the Colts are going to come into AT&T Stadium this weekend, Sunday night, and beat the Dallas Cowboys. The only thing that I have on this game that I'm worried about, I guess you can say, is the Dallas Cowboys. That is it. I'm not worried about the Colts. I'm worried about the Cowboys. Why? Because it seems like big-time stages like Sunday night, Cowboys seem to struggle a little bit. They always seem to play down to their competition. Look, we know that it's not going to be a passing frenzy over there with the Colts. We know that Jonathan Taylor is going to get his touches. We know that the Cowboys defense is a little sus against the run. But over the past couple of weeks, Dan Quinn has shored up that running defense. And Dan Quinn has done a very, very good job after giving up on almost 300, 400 plus yards in the running game 2 weeks in a row. That's crazy. But he shored up the run. And when Jonathan Taylor comes to town, I think we're going to be okay. I honestly think that Dan Quinn is going to, of course, he's going to have a hand in this. I mean, he's the defensive coordinator, for crying out loud. But I think it's going to be more defense than it is offense. Look, Dak Prescott's going to do his thing. Zeke's going to do his thing. Tony's going to do his thing. Gallup and CD, they're going to do their thing. But we have Micah Parsons, D-Law, Armstrong, Odigizua, Damone Clark, Trayvon Diggs. As long as Dan Quinn shores up this rushing attack, this rushing defense against their rushing attack, there's no way that Matt Ryan is going to throw all over us. Matt Ryan is on the decline right now, and he's been for a while. Hell, he got benched earlier this season for, if I remember what his name is. But Matt Ryan got benched, and that was a tough pill to swallow for him. It is for anyone who used to be a starter and has been to a Super Bowl, right? Who has been a Pro Bowl type player, who has been an all-star. It's tough to take a back seat to someone because you don't know, because you don't look the same, because you're getting older. And that's another thing. Matt Ryan wasn't very mobile to begin with when he first came into the league. And now that he's older, Father Time is undefeated. There's no way that Matt Ryan is going to be running up and down the field the way these other guys are. And this is another thing that kind of worries me. When it's quarterbacks that can't run, aside from Kirk Cousins, because we got his number, but when it's quarterbacks who can't run, it seems like we can't even get to the quarterback. So that's going to be a thing for me. The couple things that are going to take away from this game, because I got 2 games that I'm looking at on this schedule that's left that I can sit here and say, okay, we can be a strong contender. Is this Colts game? And the reason why, even though they're a subpar team with a tie against the Texans, even though they're a subpar team, and this is why, because it's the Colts. Never underestimate the Colts. Our run game, their rushing attack. That's what I'm looking at. And then the other game is the Tennessee Titans. If we can pull out a W against the Tennessee Titans, I know we're for real. I know we're for real. So, Dan Quinn has turned this team into the number one deep. Last year, he's made Trayvon Diggs, I think, the youngest cornerback to, I think, 17 interceptions or something like that. Crazy, the first 35 games or some shit like that. It's ridiculous what Dan Quinn has done to this team. And it's amazing how much respect he has from his guys on the defensive side. Great defensive coordinator. Good head coach. Got his team to the Super Bowl. I get it. It wasn't all him why they blew it. Couple of questionable play calls on the offensive side. But still, you got to be able to stop Tom Brady if you want to win that Super Bowl. And that's something that they couldn't get done in that Super Bowl. But you come back and you put amazing talent around a great coach such as Dan Quinn, you get a Legion of Boom type deal. Granted, ours is more on the front end with Parsons, Clark, LVE, Sam Williams, Devontae Fowler, under Dan Quinn thrived under Dan Quinn. Now he's back with him, and he looks scary, and he looks revived, and he looks hungry. And this defense, one of the best defenses in the league, is going to go out there Sunday night and ball out. And we got no one to thank but Dan Quinn. But anyways, guys, that's the video. Leave your thoughts, comments down in the comment section. If you made it this far, please like, please comment, please share it out, and I'm out. Peace.